Devin Haney against Ryan Garcia is official for April 20th. Two men who know each other all too well. They fought 6 times in the amateurs. And around a decade ago, when these two turned professional, if you had told me that less than 10 years later, they'd be facing off for a world title, I would have imagined that it would be seen as a complete pick'em 50-50 fight. But it's not that. Let's speak, and I'm very lucky, by the way, to be joined by my friend Brian, the true Geordie. I think there's only one place to start with this one, mate. We've got to talk about Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, it feels like the fight is the secondary story now. And on the one hand, a lot of people are like, is this just a really great marketing ploy by Ryan Garcia to drum up a load of interest? And in which case, it's working. But honestly, I don't think it is.
If it was a marketing ploy, and if it was a tactical thing to not only drum up interest, but to also maybe lure Devin Haney into a full sense of security.
Kind of like what Tyson Fury used to do.
Yes.
Act totally insane like he did with Klitschko, right? Like just throw everything at him to throw him off.
The problem is, it's not just the words that Ryan Garcia is saying. It's the way he's saying them. It's his voice that's changed. It's his appearance that is changed. Obviously, a lot of spotlight has been put on his body language.
I mean, can we start with the face twitching?
Yes.
Have you noticed that?
Yes.
Because when I'm watching that press conference and his face is going like that every few seconds, that was sad for me because I'm like, you know what? That's where I think some of this may just be him having a bit of fun, but you can't make your face do that involuntarily. Like that is happening to him because of something he is doing to himself. And you know, I'm not really. I'm a man of the world, but like I'm not that much of a man of the world where I can look at someone's face and go, "That's what he's done." I honestly don't know, but it's not looking healthy.
It looked like he had prepared a few lines for the press conference. And put them up his nose.
Yeah.
Don't know if we're allowed to say that, but either way, we're wrong with it.
I don't even know if it's that though. Like I've never seen someone twitching in that way. I've seen people gurning and stuff like that. That was odd, and I wouldn't know what would do that, man. But I'm sure if someone's screaming at the camera. The bottom line is, it ain't looking like he's ready for a fucking boxing match against one of the greatest boxers in the world right now. He looks like he should be getting some really well-needed help, potentially a stay at a facility where they help you do a detox. Like the one thing I do have knowledge in is mental health, episodes. My dad had quite a few, and my dad was, trying a lot of different substances and stuff like that. And sometimes I don't know if he's fully aware of what's going on, but there can be two things going on at once. He could be having fun with the attention and playing around, but also in the middle of a bit of a breakdown here. And I think that's the problem. And when you're the money man, every conversation that anyone has with you is always, there's ulterior motives there. And I feel like having someone around him like Oscar De La Hoya doesn't fill us with fucking confidence. Like he's getting the best care. And the way his dad goes on, like the way his dad went on in that press conference talking about, the hair of Devin Haney's dad and all of that. I just think, who the hell is around this lad? Like, it's not good. Like,
it's got a very dark atmosphere around it already, this fight, hasn't it? You can see it from Devin Haney. Obviously, he's made some claims, some racism accusations against him. Obviously, Ryan Garcia. There was one point in that press conference, wasn't there, when Ryan Garcia was on stage, and I think Devin Haney says like, "Stop the coke" or something like that, and he says, "I don't do that." He said, "I smoke and I drink a bit of weed." And I was thinking, drink a bit of weed. Sounds like I've been doing it. He says, "I drink and I smoke a bit of weed." And
then Haney chastised him for admitting that.
Yeah.
But Haney had previously said, "Well, what do you do then?" And then when he admitted it, went, "Oh, you're saying that when we've got all these kids watching?" And it's like, bro, stop acting, stop playing the fucking superior being right now. Like, and it's weird because in this moment when Ryan Garcia is acting like a bit of a bellend, it should make me like Haney more. It's not. Haney's not coming off well at all. Like when you're saying he's insulted my religion or whatever, and look, if anyone understands not to do that, it's me, right? But you're talking about this guy insulting your religion, and they go, well, what did he say? I'd rather not say. Well, if you're going to make an accusation like that, you better fucking back it up. Like, you're not coming off well at all here. And I hope that Haney, look, is in the heat of the moment, and I understand that fight chat will do that. But if Haney thinks for 1 second that fighting this version of Ryan Garcia is not going to be viewed upon as a sporting success, like, you know, what you're doing here, you're beating up a guy who's in the middle of a fucking potential manic episode, I think he should call the fight off or postpone it until they know what the hell's going on, because God, like, if his wife, his ex, I think it's his ex-wife. She put a social media post out saying, this is very real and we're very worried here. That's worrying as fuck.
I mean, mate, before we get into like the more worrying parts of it and the episodes and things that have happened since, even just to look at Ryan Garcia and to take in a bit of content that he's in, you can see it's different. And I'm not on about the fact that he's gone from dressing like a teenager at a Justin Bieber concert to dressing like a 1950s mob boss all of a sudden. I'm on about physically, Ryan Garcia looks very, very different. His voice is very different.
When you say physically, what do you think? Physically, what's looking different to you?
I think that he looks a lot more bloated than obviously he did, and I'm not talking about Ryan Garcia at a weigh-in. We get that boxers cut weight.
You mean his face?
Yeah, I mean his face physically. It just looks different. It looks different, and that can be a sign of substance abuse. It can be a sign of anything really. And I'm not going to throw accusations out there, but to me, physically, he looks very different. One thing that I would say is, like, we've seen Ryan Garcia on the big stage for a long, long time now. You know, I said about him turning professional sort of 9 years ago now. Ryan Garcia is only 25. So Ryan Garcia has been boxing for a long time now. And obviously around that age, when you are that age, things do start to happen. You do start to change, and you sort of change as a person in the way that you carry yourself. But that doesn't necessarily mean you start acting more erratic. And there was an interview Ryan Garcia did, and he's on, he's a Breakfast Club, right? He's on the Breakfast Club, and he's talking, and from the off, I'm thinking, wow, you seem like you're off your nut, your sort of thing. You seem like there's a couple of guys here that are filming a podcast and they're mellowed out and whatever. You seem like the sort of fella that I'm trying to get away from in an after party or in a kitchen or something like that. And he's talking about a message that Devin Haney sent, and he says, yeah, man, I just said, fuck you, motherfucker, whatever. He went, I got the messages, I can show y'all. And they go, yeah, show us. And he goes, yeah? And he goes, yeah, show us. So, like, he starts doing it and he reads them out. And I don't know who the guy is, but he's well known, the Breakfast Club guy.
Charlemagne, probably.
Yeah. He goes, well, that's not how you told it. And he sort of outs him on camera.
Charlemagne would do that.
Yeah, he goes, that's not how you just told it. You told us, you told him to shut the fuck up and whatever, because in the messages he hasn't said this. And I think erratic behaviour, when you're doing stuff like that, and I can speak from my own, when you tell lies, for me, it's normally at a time when you've been drinking or, things aren't really...
You're exaggerating things, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that was one sort of key point. In the recent days, I think just since we even planned to do this video, more and more keeps coming to light. And there was the thing of the Twitter video. It's not to say he's done it, but someone with control of Ryan Garcia's account has uploaded a video that was claiming that he was dead. And claiming that he had been killed. So
just to read out what the text says. So there's a video where Ryan Garcia can be seen sort of from down below up towards his chin. So you see a glance of his face, and then you see, we got him, boys. Ryan Garcia, R.I.P. bitch, in block capitals. 666. This video is exactly 6:06 in time. We told you we were coming. Ha ha ha. And then a load of different words. I definitely think he is behind that post himself, and he is having a little bit of fun with the level of fear. But I also believe there is truth in it as well. Like, as in, I believe his family have a right to be worried, and I believe he is going through something. But I believe he's able, he's with it enough to be able to understand that and then manipulate people and to fuck with people. So he thinks he's having a bit of fun in reality, and he is trolling. But in reality, like, your face is twitching like fuck. You don't look right, so you're clearly not in the right place to be having a fight right now, regardless.
When we look at that crop, right, you've got Devin Haney, obviously, Ryan Garcia is one of them, you've got Tank and Shakur Stevenson. I think, despite the fact that Ryan Garcia's fought Devin Haney in the amateurs, got wins over him, he's fought Shakur Stevenson in the amateurs, got wins over Virgil Ortiz Jr. in the amateurs, and he was coming through and he's a very good boxer, he's done very good things in the ring. There was always the view on Ryan Garcia that he was maybe not the poster boy in terms of who would go on to do the most, but he was like the child star type.
He was the star.
And he is
a star.
Exactly.
He's more of a star than any of the others. Like, regardless of what happens in the ring, he's the most famous out of the four.
He's got 10 million Instagram followers. That's more than any of them. I think I looked at Devin Haney's YouTube channel, 74,000 followers on YouTube, subscribers. Ryan Garcia's got 1.5 million. And when I look at the trend, right, and I'm always fascinated by this sort of stuff, but we always use the obvious examples of Michael Jackson, Macaulay Culkin, a lot of these Lindsay Lohan, a lot of these childhood stars, and I would actually put Ryan Garcia into that category, especially in the boxing world's like-for-like version. A lot of these childhood stars end up fucked up, man, because they have money from a young age, that sort of following, the sort of responsibility on their shoulders to grow up and be almost a role model when they're not grown enough to be able to be sensible enough to do that. Do you think that's somewhat played into the sort of episode we're seeing at the moment from Ryan Garcia?
I think how he looks has been a problem. Like, the guy, is a handsome lad. There's a reason why, I can't remember who it was, Versace, Louis Vuitton, one of them, they did the fucking shorts for him. For one of his fights. He has had money thrown at him very, very quickly, and not all of us are given the set of skills to handle it. In fact, most aren't, but some are really, really not made for it. And I always thought, he handles it quite well, but it's one thing handling it well, and it's another thing making allegedly 50 plus million from a Tank fight. What happens when you get mega money? Because then the hangers-on get a tighter grip on you because the things you can give them become increased, right? So all of a sudden you've got all these friends, and so I can't even imagine how hard that's been for him. But I think you're bang on. I think that is the problem, is he was the one who got too much too soon more than the rest. And I also just don't think that the motivations of the other lads are quite the same. I think Haney kind of wants to go down the Money Mayweather route. He's kind of starting to dress that way, but he's not viewed as Mayweather yet. Ryan Garcia was viewed as, I can actually compare him a bit more to Conor McGregor in terms of the way the media attention went on him super fast. And obviously we've seen McGregor's also struggled. So yeah, I definitely think you're right.
Although we're sort of seeing him in this, what seems like a dark space from the outside looking in at the moment, the warning signs were sort of there a little bit. You remember when he was training as part of the Canelo team, obviously in that setup, and
he got called out.
Yeah.
By Canelo.
Yeah. So,
and if Canelo calls you out, bro, I don't know about you, but I believe him.
100%.
He said you're not dedicated enough.
Yeah.
And if Canelo had been a pretty boy and, had the sort of money thrown at the age Garcia was, would Canelo have gone on to achieve what he did? It's a gift to be, offered all of these brand deals with these modeling agencies and all of that. But it's also a head turner. It's also a reason why, even in fucking football, we cover football, right? I remember saying Dominic Calvert-Lewin after one good season got into fucking fashion shows, and you're like, mate, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're not even fucking there yet. And it's just not good to be going down that road, in my opinion.
The problem is, away from boxing, Ryan Garcia obviously has means to make money. He made a lot of money in the Tank fight. And there's always that possibility, isn't there, that, without, or potentially even now, he might not even need boxing. And for that reason, it's sort of commendable that he's still doing it. And it makes you think, right, you've still got a drive to do it. You've still got a passion to do it. But it's just this current version of him we're seeing that it's
he's got a passion to get in the ring. Yeah. But has he got a passion to do the hard yards? I don't think so.
What did you think
He hasn't grown as a boxer, has he?
No.
If you're looking at Haney, we've already said Garcia and Haney, three each in amateur. When I look at the way Haney's evolved as a fighter and his all-round game, and I look at the fact that Ryan Garcia is a very, very good boxer, but is relying on them fast hands. Otherwise, if you've got an answer for it and you've got good timing, as Tank showed, I'm not really sure if he's going to fulfill his potential.
What did you think of the sparring footage that Ryan Garcia leaked between Devin Haney and Tank?
Well, as much as I'm not a fan of Haney in terms of like some of the things he's saying, I really respect this graft and the work he's put in to get where he is. And I think it's unfair. A, it's a spar. B, though, apparently he was really young. People forget that Tank is actually...
Tank's 4 years older.
Yeah, and that 4 years is a...
It's a big, bearing in mind that sparring footage is going back a while. I know Devin Haney's had involvement with Floyd Mayweather, but Tank was firmly Mayweather's man. It's in the Mayweather gym, so he's on home soil.
I can't remember how it went, because I think someone commented on the video I watched saying, well, it was that spar that made Floyd want Tank, because he'd been putting his time into Haney, and now he's like, who's this kid? But look, Haney was, 18?
Yeah.
Like, if you're in there with a 22, 23-year-old and you're 18, those are, like, really formative years in that man strength that you get. So, like, when he's getting bullied by Tank, I'm like, well, Tank's a power puncher anyway, and he's got 4 or 5 years on you. I don't think it's like, oh, that's what would happen now.
And as entertaining as it was to watch the spar, if you're a Devin Haney fan, if you're Devin Haney himself, all you're going to be thinking is, yeah, but it weren't you that done that to me.
And he's come on leaps and bounds since then.
And then you look at the other thing with that spar, I think we're all in agreement that Devin Haney was getting a bit of a pasting in there at times. He didn't quit.
Yeah.
And you can look at Ryan Garcia's fight with Tank, and a lot have levelled that at him. A lot have said that you quit. I've had body shots, just while we're on the matter, I've had body shots where it's took me 6-7 seconds to be like, fuck, that hurts. You know what I mean? So I think that delayed reaction thing, to people that haven't boxed, they might see that and they think, oh, well, Ryan Garcia. Yeah, there's an element. He's obviously took the option to go down there, but it could have been a delayed reaction. When we look at the record of both of these guys, right, I think that there's no doubting that Devin Haney is the one that has the best resume. And do you know what? I think you go as far to say that of all the guys in that lightweight division, Devin Haney has the best resume, including Tank so far, because read you out the little list here. Gamboa, Linares, Jojo Diaz, George Kambosos twice, Regis Prograis. That's the last few fights he's had in there. There's only one name that I left out of there, and I have to do it because on this channel I have to be true to myself. I'm not putting Vasily Lomachenko's name in there because I don't believe that Devin Haney won that fight. I scored that 7 rounds to 5 for Lomachenko.
A lot of people did. I mean, I thought it was a really close fight. I thought it was one of them, but. The thing about Garcia, that let's say Garcia is just totally trolling, he's coming in 100% and we're wrong. Garcia has that shut the lights off ability, and like what he did to Luke Campbell was quite impressive. Like the fact that I was looking at him going, I was waiting for that left hook to the head, and then he comes out with this flying body shot. So there is the X factor with this kid, and if he developed his all-round game, I'd give him a lot better. I still give him a shot. Like I still don't think it's an easy fight, but right now, watching the way he's going on, I'm like, well, what fucking hope have I got when your face is twitching like that and you're coming out with this gobbledygook?
If our perception of what's going on here, like, is correct, right, and Ryan Garcia is really not in a good place and maybe shouldn't even be getting in the ring, and maybe the people around him should be saying to him, listen, I know there's a lot of money to be earned here, but maybe you shouldn't be getting in there. If our perception's correct here, then it's not going to be a close fight, right? But if we're wrong, and I think it's a slim chance we are, but if we are wrong on this, or say, for example, Ryan Garcia can get himself right in that time between now and April 20th, 8 weeks or so, if he can get himself right in that time and he can pull off a win here, if he wasn't already, he's an absolute superstar. And it can almost be a way of like, wow, do you know what? It was a masterclass in terms of building the fight, selling the fight, getting people interested in you. Also, when you look at like the diversity of his audience, I think coming up, you had a lot of like teenagers following Ryan Garcia, way more females following him than the average boxer would have.
He did a lot of stuff with influencers as well, Jake Paul.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But now you got people like me who maybe if it wasn't for the fact he's a good boxer wouldn't be that interested. Fuck me, I'm interested now. You know what I mean? I'm watching his every move now because, listen, as bad as it might sound, I've got to be honest, man, there's nothing like a loose cannon.
You know what? Being interesting is a skill.
Yeah.
And some people, especially in the influencer world, they've made a fucking whole career off of it. And if there's one thing that Haney hasn't been, it's interesting, like especially in the ring. Like, my God, his style is so defensive. It's so fucking boring for me sometimes. It's not quite Shakur Stevenson's last fight, but At no point, if being in the UK, we would have to stay up through the night to watch fights if we wanted to see them live. I never stay up for a Haney fight, ever. Because I'm not missing shit. Like, all right, yeah, I'll rewatch it back. I'll see a boxing masterclass and I'll go, I was good round, da-da-da. I'm not being like, I need to be there in case the magical moment happens. I never feel that way. Ryan Garcia does give you a bit of that, but he also gives you the build-up, the journey, the hype. And I mean, if anything, you know, some boxers could learn a thing or two about what's going on here. I'm not suggesting going on like this level of maniac is a good idea, but as Conor McGregor did, turn the volume up on the run-in, and you'll get more. You'll make more money. And as much as Haney might be pissed off right now, this man is going to make him a shitload of cash. And let's give him credit. Ryan Garcia made Tank. Tank was not a household name. Ryan Garcia sort of turned him into what some people call the face of boxing. I don't think so, because Tank doesn't take enough dangerous fights for me. But that fight made his career, and it made him more money than any other fight. So Garcia deserves credit for making these lads.
It's interesting, isn't it, that you used the analogy, and it's a very fitting one of Conor McGregor there. We can probably think of more fighters that have gone down that same route path, and they've all got one thing. They've all got one thing in common, really, in terms of the longevity is not really there for you when you go down this sort of route. So I think the main question we've got here is, have we? And this would sound mad at the age he's at, 25, you know, but have we already seen the best of Ryan Garcia?
I mean, if that Luke Campbell win is the best win of his career, it would be sad. But it could end up being that way, because the problem is you get to a point where you're such a big name. Every fight's a money fight, but they're all like hitting. I personally would like to see him. He was supposed to do this after the Tang fight, rebuild, take your time, but he clearly doesn't give a fuck about that. And you got to say, fair fucks, you crazy son of a bitch. Like, I really like this about him, especially the fact that he's the pretty boy, the one who's the supermodel, and literally was given all that like Versace level treatment. And yet he's showing more balls than people like Tank Davis, who weight drained the fuck out of him and made sure he was at his weakest for that fight. And Ryan was like, yeah, do whatever you want. I believe I beat you. Like, we complain so much, and yet he's doing this in his prime, right in the middle of his career. And yeah, I just hope that kind of the fact that the guy's mentally unstable is the real sadness about it. But like, he's such a fucking talent and he's such a star that I hope that they get their hands around the situation and make sure he is at 100% for this fight. You can't take a Haney fight and not be 100%.
Not only that, though, like, you look at the fight he came back into, Oscar Duarte, like, I'm not saying he's a world beater, but he's a good opponent.
He doesn't take shit fights, does he?
He's a harder opponent than anyone would come back into after taking a loss. I can guarantee you that. So he's in interesting fights. I don't know how long Ryan Garcia is going to be here for, and I mean in boxing, obviously, but it's going to be interesting while he is here. Any chance in your mind that Ryan Garcia wins this fight?
Yeah, but only if he gets help and they just postpone it or something. I right now this seems like a car crash waiting to happen, which is a shame, because I think if they're both 100%, it's competitive.
Well, you look at the amateur fights, 3-3, and it wasn't like Ryan Garcia won the first 3 and then Devin Haney leveled up, worked a bit on his boxing. It was 1 win, 1 loss.
And all
win,
competitive right the way through.
Yeah.
Right?
So let's see. I'm really looking forward to that fight. I want you lot to let me know your opinion on just what is going on with Ryan Garcia at the moment in the comment section, and also predictions for this fight. Speaking of big fights, this Friday we're live on the Pain Game for the Joshua against Ngannou fight. So I'm really looking forward to that one.
Come on, Ngannou.
Yeah, let's see how that goes. I will link the Pain Game in the description. People, let me know your thoughts. Smash the like, smash the subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.